I feel like maybe we're conscious now that it's recording and we're going to use it. So rather than have the light-hearted, gentlemanly, friendly conversation that we have usually before recording it, and I abruptly start the podcast, that's not going to happen now because everyone knows that we're recording.
I can't go on a tangent. I was going to ask you about Aquaman, but I don't want to do it now. Do you know what I mean?
So anyway, welcome to the Special Moves podcast. This is episode 17.
Yeah.
My name's Mike. You are Jake and Liam.
Yep.
Are you not?
That's right, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we've got that out of the way, let's carry on.
Shutter Island. Do you know where
Why?
we are?
Oh, yeah.
You
Right,
did.
okay.
Thank you.
This is podcast 17, like I said. We're going to be talking about my PS4 Life, which is a kind of new feature that Sony...
Not Mike's PS4.
Yeah, it's just...
It's a video for everybody.
Yeah. It's quotation mark, my PS4 Life, quotation mark.
Yeah, that's the title.
Yeah, it's this thing that Sony have just put out this week where you get like a 50-second video kind of summarising how many hours you've played stuff and whatever. It's quite nice, I guess. We're going to talk about that, what our kind of stats were and stuff. We've got some impressions of the game Gris, which looks really nice. Watched some gameplay earlier.
Yeah, sure. I actually did play it as well.
I'm talking from a purely personal perspective.
We actually all just sat down, watched 20 minutes of gameplay, and then we can't
let's
give you
talk
our
about
impressions.
that. Yeah, just like every other YouTuber. And Ashen, Liam, you've played a lot of Ashen. Is that
Not
right?
a lot, like an hour or
More
two.
than me.
Oh right. Oh okay. Not an hour. So we've just literally just made a joke about watching 20 minutes, 20 minutes of Gris, and then Liam's played an hour, which is more than what Jake has played, and we're going to talk about that. We've also got Dear Special Moves, which is
There might be a good reason why, though, isn't there? Do you know what I mean?
exactly.
You have to find
All right,
out.
we'll talk about Ashen anyway. Either way, we've got Dear Special Moves coming up, which is a couple of nice topics that have been chucked our way from the you guys, the listeners and viewers. Actually, there's three topics.
All three listeners and viewers.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you very, very much.
And believe it or not, there are indeed some release dates to talk about as well in the coming week, which is the week before Christmas. Still time for new games, I guess, though. So, my PS4 Life. So, this is a thing where you kind of... All you literally have to do is log in.
Yeah.
To the PlayStation website, and then it gives you like a 50-second highlight reel that tells you how long you've played stuff, tells you like how many trophies you've had, what your first game was, and shit like that.
Yeah.
So if you are playing on PlayStation, especially if you've had a PlayStation for a long time, it's quite a nice little sort of surprise to look back at some of the things that you've done.
Well, it is a surprise, because like on Steam and other like I guess I don't know, did other like PC places have like a list of how long you play stuff for? But I know
Steam's pretty comprehensive, isn't it?
Origin does. I think the GOG one does as well.
Right.
Just tells you how much time you've played.
Yeah.
So crucially here, though, there's none of that on PlayStation, is it? You don't know how long you've played the game for. You don't know. You can look at your trophies and you can see the dates and even the time of day that you earn them. But you can't rank your games by most played.
Yeah.
And it's a big feature on Steam, that obviously. But it seems that Sony are harvesting that data, keeping it hidden away from people. Not in a nasty way, but they've got it there somewhere. Somewhere in the API. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, you will have agreed to let them have it anyway in those terms and conditions that everyone agrees to.
But it's just one of them. It's just one of them classic PlayStation. Oh, why?
Yeah.
Why can't we have it? If you got it, it's not harming anybody.
why
I just want to see how many hours I've spent on this. Anyway, so
you get like trophy stats, don't you? And then that's it really.
Yeah.
You get like
that's what I mean. Yeah.
What your completion percentages and shit like that of games and stuff, but you don't really.
If you want to know how much time you've played, you've got to hope the save file of the game tells you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so it's within the software within the game to tell you whether or not you've played. So
it turns out it's not.
Yeah. Now there's a little video which is an incredibly highly kind of curated bit of data, so it's not like a really comprehensive list of stuff. It's like the top three in it.
If you use Facebook or whatever, or you've used Facebook in the last like 3 years, Facebook does it with like friend anniversaries and stuff. Yeah. Like it'll make like a little montage for you. It's the same for everybody, but they've just like changed out templates. So what have we got then? Well,
I guess I'll go first then. So I learned that my very first game was Battlefield 4, which is a bit of a surprise. I can't even remember how that. I don't know if I bought that with the PlayStation or if I borrowed it or whatever. But that was the first game I played, which is quite nice. My top 3 most played games, which probably in a surprise to no one, in this order: Destiny 1, Bloodborne, and Destiny 2 in third. So that's
Yeah.
That's me, boys. That's
Yeah.
my those are my hours, and it was about 120, 7 hours or something. They were all quite close, except Destiny 2 is like, I don't know, about 90 hours or so. I can't remember
Yeah,
what it was.
single digits. Yeah.
Yeah, or double digits. Right? It's not like.
Wait,
Imagine if my third most played game
yeah.
was single digits.
So a single digit less than 3 digits, aka 2 digits. Not confusing at all. That's how my brain thought there. That's bad.
Drop 1 digit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we watched mine together, didn't we? So
We
that's
did.
that
It was a
was-
moment.
It
We
was a
all
moment.
we were
Yeah.
all there to witness.
Yeah, I feel like it was a moment of vulnerability for me there. I could have been hugely embarrassed, but I feel like I was all right. I got through that okay. I got loads of trophies, like more than I thought. It also, one thing I thought was interesting was it counts all of your games that you've kind of
Ever played? Yeah.
registered
Across
right?
PS4, I think.
Yeah, and mine was like 137 or something like that, and I can't remember playing 137 games on this thing. I've got to be honest,
No.
so I don't know
Yeah.
what
If
that is.
you were to make a list now, you could probably remember like 50 or something, right? Most
If
people
at
most
a
people-
stretch,
Yeah.
50. Yeah, I don't generally tend
You
to
don't
remember
Super
stuff.
Exploding Zoo on PS Plus last year.
No.
I do.
I don't know if that's a joke or
That's
is
right,
that
exactly.
a real game.
Oh.
There we go. Yeah. So those are my stats. I'm pretty pleased with it. I'm pretty happy with the fact that Bloodborne was second most
I was
played.
impressed. by
It's
that.
like that felt like a put my money where my mouth is sort of moment.
That's what I mean.
You
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
That was cool.
Yeah, and then Destiny being.
Well, again,
I just play shitloads of Destiny.
that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
And I don't think it will surprise loads of people who know
Yeah.
you from listening to
This
you
is
for a
Destiny
year or so.
1 as well, by the way. That's the top played
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
It's, I really like Destiny.
Liam's
and it
list
shows.
was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
But yours
Go on.
wasn't.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
All right. So, first PS4 game played was Contrast, which was
Yeah.
a little indie game from the same people who made We Happy Few. I think it was their first game.
Right.
And it was the first game on PS Plus for PS4.
Right.
And I remember I claimed it before I had a PS4 because I had a PS3. So that seems like a bit of a cop-out to me.
Yeah.
I would say Killzone was my first game, but
Yeah.
apparently PlayStation disagrees.
Killzone launch title, definitely
Yeah.
one of my first
It was
games.
the first game I played. I did install Contrast the same day,
Yeah.
but Killzone was first, but oh well.
I got Infamous Second Son with it, and so that tells me that I got my
That was-
PlayStation,
That was March 2014, I think.
which is probably 5. So I probably got my PlayStation about 5-6 months after.
Yeah,
it
because
came
I
out.
remember it came out the same day as Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes
Yeah.
on PS4
right,
and console.
which is the
The $20
extremely
prequel.
brief, if you want
Yeah.
it to be,
or $30, however much it was.
yeah, prequel to Metal Gear Solid 5. Okay, what else you
Yeah,
got?
and then hours played. I had 1,534 hours played across 118 PS4 games.
Which is the lowest out of the three of us.
is the lowest, yeah.
Surprisingly, but you play a lot of PC.
Yeah,
and
I
you've
put
got
that
an
down.
Xbox, which
I do,
is
yeah. I'm
important.
spread across.
Spread a cloth.
I am spread across multiple platforms
Yeah.
more than
Yeah.
you guys are, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah.
So that's what I put that down to.
Yeah.
And then most played games. Number 1, Destiny 2 with 82 hours. Yep.
Sorry, I find this hilarious.
that is a surprise.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Number 2, Metal Gear Solid 5 with
Surprising,
60
no one.
hours.
That's
a Liam pick,
Makes
isn't it?
sense. Yeah, makes sense.
And then number 3, Red Dead Redemption 2 at 54 hours.
Very recent game.
Yeah,
as well,
it is.
And
so
again,
that's,
that's probably because I mostly play single player games, I guess.
yeah. Do you know what? One game I'll be honest, I was quietly expecting to be up there for me was The Division. Because I played, Destiny, I played loads of that. And again, that's not a single player game. That's what reminded me then. Because it is like the multiplayer games, especially these ones that are like hybrid multiplayer, where you feel continually like you're playing a story, but you just kind of keep going back to it to check.
Yeah.
So I thought The Division would be up there, but it wasn't. A little side note there for me. But Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
That's interesting because it's so. But I bet you it's in like a bracket there because this is the problem. You can't really see what else you've got in terms of stats and stuff. I bet you've got a ton of games that are quite
53.
close.
A lot of them that
52.
fall in like the 40-hour mark.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
play a lot of RPGs and stuff that
Yeah.
are always about 40 hours long.
And 50 hours seems like a big kind of single player cap as
Yeah.
well. It's like to get longer than 50 hours of a single player game is quite
Yeah.
quite a big deal.
And
So that's,
you weren't doing all the open world stuff either, so you could
No.
have been even longer than that sort of thing, which is something about Red
Yeah.
Dead's
And
length.
I barely played any of the online, but like an hour or two
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
So your most played game was Destiny 2 with 80,
82 hours it was.
Okay.
82, yeah.
and because my third most played game is 87 hours. So these are big fat numbers here.
But if you remember, I played 72 hours of that free-to-play Ghost in the Shell game on PC. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I played more PUBG than that, and it's just like
I played like 48 hours of PUBG when that came out.
Yeah,
it's weird. Multiplayer games seem to be PC focused for me. Mainly.
Yeah.
Like I played a lot of Vermintide 2 as well.
Yeah, and like any MMO, I imagine. They're the big numbers and Dota and stuff.
Yeah.
What was the rarest trophy? Can you remember?
So I had 4,029 trophies, which I think is the highest out of all of us.
Probably
by a lot.
Because I'm a bit mad for trophies. And my rarest trophy was called Hold My Cappuccino from Matterfall, which is that game from Housemarque before they stopped making arcade games. They made like Dead Nation, Super Stardust, if you remember all them, Resogun, all them. Really good games. But yeah, apparently no one played that game apart from me and a few other people. So that's my rarest trophy.
My rarest trophy was on the recent game Catastronauts, which is
solely down to the fact that
I think you had the rarest trophy as well.
If you're so hungry for more Overcooked that you're willing to play,
hungry for Overcooked. That's very nice.
You're welcome. And I like a bit of sci-fi and stuff. So Overcooked in space, yes please. Played that. Yeah, that was my rarest trophy, and that was recent as well, which kind of it counts for less. I feel like if it's only been out a few months, if that,
absolutely.
There's less people have had a chance to get the trophies, so it doesn't really count for much for me. I don't think. But I'm not a big trophy guy, so that's What about you, Jacob? What have you got?
All right, so. I didn't write down my trophy, but I know what it is off the top of my head. Well, I don't know what the trophy is, but I know what game it was from. It was from this game, The Final Station, which is like you had to go. Right, I know what it sounds like. All right,
I remember when this game came out, you told me to check it out.
Yeah, exactly. It's a game about it's a Russian game about it's a 2D game where you play as a train driver in a zombie apocalypse, and you've got to get the survivors to like some last bastion of human life.
Train to Busan, but in Russia.
Yeah, and not as many zombies on the trains. In fact, it's just in stations. You're getting survivors from stations, putting them on your train, which is zombie free, and then you're having to use fuel that you've collected to get from station to station.
Sounds a bit like the Oregon Trail. Trying to get your pioneers across the western front.
Yeah, it's like that. And so the train bits are very much just like engine work, very train simulator-y, but then you've got this zombie bit in. And it's 2D indie stuff, and I guess not many people got it on the play.
That sounds like they were designing a train game and went, this just needs something. It needs a bit of spice.
Russia and zombies.
I should put zombies in there.
Yeah, it's fucking alright actually. It's a decent enough game. Anyway,
I
finished it on the hard difficulty, and that's what the trophy was for.
Right.
Can't remember how many people got it, but it was more than your rarest trophies. So.
Right.
My top 3 games are number 3, Destiny, which was also, by the way, my first game I played because I bought a PS4 for Destiny.
Right. Yeah. Can I just quick interjection? If anyone says "lol," just play Warframe in the comments, goodbye forever. That's an announcement for you right now.
Yeah.
Right.
See ya.
Right. I'm not having "lol," just play Warframe in the comments. Now that I've said that, there's probably going to be about 90.
Yeah, it's just because you've told them not to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Little children. Right, so Destiny, 87 hours, yeah? Second most played game, Destiny 2. 114 hours, which is significantly more than you guys, because recently I've just jumped back onto it playing Warmind.
It's not that much. Mine was about 82.
Yeah, so 30 hours more, 20 hours more, something like that. But I have just recently got back into it and been dicking about. And I did like to play PvP alone a lot of the time. Because
you did.
I do enjoy a bit of PvP. So, and it's one of those games that I do in big sessions. So, like, I got Forsaken this week, just gone. And the first day I got it, I played it for like 8 hours in one sitting, which I don't.
It's going to be a big Christmas game for me that I just can't wait till, I finish at work and I've got 2 weeks off, and that's going to be that's like top of the list. Really.
So that surprised me, Destiny and Destiny 2 being number 3 and 2, because I finished a Divinity Original Sin 1 about 3 or 4 times, and that's not in the top 3. So I did that in less than 87 hours. Me and Sean were talking about this because I was interested to see what she thinks, because she doesn't play the game. She just watches.
What's her perception of your most played game?
And she thought it was going to be Divinity Original Sin and The Witcher 3. But neither of them made the cut.
The Witcher's interesting, but I've got it on PlayStation, but I played it on PC. So
I
took 5 days off work for The Witcher 3 though, and just played it non-stop. So that's
on PlayStation.
To do with it. Yeah, on PS4. Yeah, I've never played it on another console. I've only played it on PS4 or PC. And anyway, number 1 was something I've been telling everybody I've played for 200 hours, and I'm happy to say I played it for 231. Is Binding of Isaac Rebirth my most played game on PlayStation easily? And yeah, anybody that's been around my house, and then they stay at my house for more than an hour, I end up just ignoring them and playing this. Like, do you know, like
why?
Well, I can do both at the same time because it's so muscle memory for me, and I don't know. I find I'm better concentrating when I'm fidgeting. So like if Sean's sister comes around and she's talking to me for a bit, I just carry on talking with her, keep making eye contact with her, but then I just play Binding of Isaac while she's talking. It makes it easy.
So annoying.
It makes it better for everybody.
Does it?
Yeah. And so I've got 1,891 hours on my PS4, which is 78.7 days.
Yeah.
On the PS4.
Yeah.
Which is mad numbers.
Yeah. Mine was about 73 days.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yours was like 179.
73 days of gameplay.
Yeah. So I try and think about something you could learn in that long, innit?
Yeah, or try not to. That's how I cope
no
with
regrets and stuff. Now,
how many days you've wasted?
Yeah.
A lot of people who are listening, it would have maybe had a PlayStation 4 at some point, or maybe I know a lot of people that listen have a PS4.
Yeah.
If you're interested, on the PlayStation website, just search my PS4 Life. I know you have to do is log in your Sony account, and it automatically makes it. Earlier in the week,
takes about 2 minutes of generally. You just wait. And
it's like while the AI churns out the video or whatever.
And it's like 50 seconds long.
Exactly.
It's not,
So let us know your numbers, because I'm sure we've got some
100%.
mad numbers down there. Let us know if you got surprised by any games, because I am interested, and I don't think we're going to make a separate video about this.
Also, I want to know how surprised they are about the fact that Destiny is like by far the most common PlayStation theme for us. It's
people who might know about us know that Destiny 2 we played together all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. So that's why and it was a nice co-op time.
Yeah.
But I want to know what you guys think, because earlier this week when it first went live, I tried for 2 days to get this up, and I couldn't do it, and then I did
it this morning, and it was and it was
I had
totally
no issue
fine.
when I did it.
Yeah, but it's just interesting that, because I thought I'd spent a lot more time on games than that. Like I say, I've got like 100 odd hours almost in PUBG, and I think that might be it. My second most played game. I've spent lots of hours.
It is weird how on PC you just seem to rack them up, because my total war hours are like fucking. It blows all that out of the water. Basically all the total war games that I enjoy.
Well, we have one save of Divinity Original Sin 2 on PC. That's 54 hours.
Yeah.
One
and
save.
It's strange
Never mind the other saves.
It's weird how it racks up the hours on PC, isn't it? So
so I was very surprised by the low number for me anyway, because I live on my PS4.
Yeah.
So that's the PS4 Life. But please do let us know what your biggest upset is. Are you also? Do you know what? Yeah, specifically, actually, is Destiny in yours as well? Even if you didn't think it, because I wouldn't have said Destiny.
Well, I think there'll be a theme of like it'll be Rainbow Six Siege, and it'll be like all them
Ubisoft
kind of things
heavy.
you go back to games. The what I would kind of describe as my second game, where I'm playing a single player game and I've got one of them on the side, like and it has been Destiny for years on console. It's going to be those games, isn't it? It's going to be the multiplayer games. It's going to be what your friends have got. It's going to be like, but if you're playing
Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, and if you're playing COD or Call of Duty or something, there's one every year, so you probably don't get a chance to, unless you're like just playing it loads.
The new one shit, so you go back to the old one.
Yeah, which does happen. Yeah, exactly. So tell us what your stats are in the comments, 100%, and tell us what you think of ours as well. What if you thought it was a surprise or not? What we said there, because I thought I wasn't totally surprised by anyone. Really, nothing that came up was a massive surprise. No, but I do kind of find it quite funny that Destiny is just for all three of us.
Yeah.
So that's funny. All right, so let's talk about Gris then.
Oh yeah. Okay.
This is a game what you've played this week.
Yeah. So Gris is an indie game, which I play a lot of, I guess. It came out this year, and it's pretty late to come out because Game of the Year lists are being made and stuff nice and early now. And this came out on the 13th, which was the Thursday just gone. It's made by Nomada Studios, who come from Barcelona. And it was published by Devolver Digital, who are quite well known for making some pretty interesting games. To me, with Devolver,
big indie label, aren't they? Really,
they are, and it's a weird one, Devolver, because they swing and miss a lot, but when they hit, it's a smash hit.
Yeah.
And Yeah, so you know what? A devolver, like, it's not like...
They're usually known for their wackiness, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, quite eccentric.
Like, they've got this game coming out soon. They're publishing this game called Ape Out. Have you seen that? It's Hotline Miami, but
Hotline
you play as a
Miami,
gorilla.
but a gorilla with
It
a
looks
bit of
fucking
jazz
sick.
drums as well. It looks good.
Honestly, it looks really, really good.
All the music's timed to, like, jazz drums as well.
Yeah,
that's cool.
you'll like that.
Really
Giant
nice
gorilla.
art style.
Come on. Anyway,
giant gorilla.
but sometimes, anyway, they're trying a bit, and they try and publish the wacky stuff, and sometimes it's just it's either a bit too edgy or it just misses. This game is just a very different thing from what you probably expect.
Yeah.
It's not pixel art style, it's watercolor sort of style. Side-scrolling platformer, aren't they fucking all? About mental health and grief, aren't they all? This is like someone's put it into like indie game algorithm. It shouldn't stand out, but it does because it's brilliant. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that if you'd like.
Sure,
yeah, cool.
Let's go.
Okay, so yeah, Gris is basically the story of, as far as I know, an unnamed protagonist. And she's like singing at the beginning, blah, 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 blah. She loses her voice. She's
Just like that, or
blah, blah, blah,
a bit
blah,
better than that, would you say?
It's pretty beautiful, yeah. She's good at singing. And she loses her voice, and then she's sad about it. So she goes on this mad quest through like this world, which I can only imagine is probably some metaphor for a psyche, because it's like starts off very black and white, and then she starts like as the game progresses and you're doing more challenges, the world starts evolving in colours. Now you've got to understand, nearly everything I'm saying here sounds like it's been done before, and it's because it has. But this is done in such a way that, I don't know, it feels very cohesive. It feels like everything is done well enough that you're not looking at the seams of it and going, well, this is from this game, this is from this game, this is from this game. It's believable enough to... It doesn't have to stand out as being original, because everything together is so well thought out that it's managed to rise above this massive amount of side-scrolling indie games that have come out this year, and it's basically in the same lane as Celeste. A woman and some mental health. I don't want to ruin the story of either of them.
Celeste is a bit more kind of
Super Meat Boy-ish,
retro art and gamey.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the concept, specifically some journey of self-discovery. You know, it's got all these paint-by-numbers things that...
Speaking of journey.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, he takes huge cues from Journey as well, going through ruins and being followed by these sorts of rays of light and stuff like that. Yeah, musical swells and big moments followed by some sparse, like, weird pads. But the idea of it might not sound that amazing, but the execution of it is terrific. The platforming, I don't know, it's not the best platforming I've played. It's not it's quite... You know what you get. You know what you need to do straight away. So it doesn't really play like a puzzler. It's a bit challenging. There's a lot of going back to go forward. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'll see, for example, like there's some rocks and you need to get one of the balls of light to progress, but you don't know how to get through the rocks. You go forward, you unlock the ability to turn your dress into like a stone to smash through the rocks. Give your character some weight, and you go back, and then you know what to do.
It's pretty like abstract like that, isn't it? So like turning your dress into a stone sort of thing. It's like all these games though, really it's the visual and the sound that kind of, that's what sets it apart. Like how does it look and how does it sound? Because so many of these games are ultimately about moving sideways, jumping and solving puzzles. But then it becomes then about the themes and what it looks like and this has got such a strong like visual aesthetic. It's such a strong visual choice to go like, well, this will look different to basically all the other. Like, there's so many pixel art, so many retro art games. It's quite difficult to make them stand out. It's still possible, but it's quite difficult to make them stand out now. Whereas this really does stand out, absolutely, just purely because of how it looks. And then when you spend time looking at that, it then becomes
part of
thematically a different thing. It's very slow paced,
which is
sometimes you're just watching it.
Exactly, and it's a very intelligent way of dealing with this obvious shortcoming of budget and development teams, because you can't make a game like God of War if you're one guy. You can't do it. So a lot of the time,
pretty impressive if you did though. It'll take about 30 years. I reckon.
Someone's gonna So Stardew Valley is again a simple concept done by one guy, but the themes are what makes that special. It's the same with lots of indie games. It's a basic side scroller, I guess, supposed to code in there isn't anything to write home about. So what they've had to do is make the place you're going from left to right in stand out. And a lot of creatives who work
the motivation and why and what's
exactly
what's going on in the places. It's
but there's so many fresh takes on this that you see it time and time again. But Gris still manages to stand out in a big way. You can just put it on in the background and it's like a lava lamp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to just put a gameplay walkthrough on or something like that and just look at it. The way that it uses geometry in the game, as well as the colours, is really nice. It gives certain levels, if you want to call it that way, even though it's a fluid game from left to right. But it gives like each stage of the game
transitions into the next one without it's not like it's not like Sonic the Hedgehog where you like fucking stage
Green
1,
Hill
2.
Zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, you are in a green hilly zone.
But it's so different. It's really different though.
So you start off in some like red, black and white area, and then red explodes into view, and then you're in this sort of red stage. I'm going to call it a stage because it's like
listen to that though. You chose to say red explodes into view rather than then it goes red, which is because you're not going from the green zone to the red zone.
No,
sounds like a bit fucking military that, but it's like
the red zone.
It just happens artistically. It happens.
Yeah, exactly, and it demands respect that way. So I can't say it goes red then it goes green because it doesn't happen.
Exactly,
the transitional periods in between these stages of your character falling or sliding down a hill or stumbling upon this next area, and how the colours in the background and then eventually the foreground morph so seamlessly is outstanding. Like it really is beautiful. Like I played it with headphones in on PC. I got a copy early, thank you very much. And you know what I mean? I've got to say,
I don't know if you meant that to sound as abrasive as it was. No. I got a copy early. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much, Indigo Pearl, for sending an early copy through. I just wanted to try and get it out of the way.
Like a passive message to someone else who didn't give you an early copy.
Yeah. So we had that on the account, and it seemed like a game I would like from when I watched the trailers. And actually, a friend of ours, Phil, had gifted me a copy for Christmas. So thank you very much, Phil, for that. Which was really nice because he said again, it seems like a Jake game, and it was indeed. Like for me, I loved it, and I'm not sure it's for everybody. The platforming is very, very basic. It could be quite tedious, knowing that there's a lot of backtracking in such a slow-paced, atmospheric game. You're not sprinting. There's no cheat. You have to go all the way back, look at the scenery again. And the scenery can go from, breathtaking to irritating if you see it too many times. I just showed you guys a little bit of it earlier downstairs. And there's a very simple mechanic where every now and then a windstorm appears and you have to get your character into shelter. Now, when a windstorm appears, like this organ, Castlevania-esque organ, starts doing its thing. Yeah. And I showed you guys first time, nice gimmick, but the guy who was doing the walkthrough of it wasn't really doing it right. So he kept getting pushed back, and we had to hear the same bit over and over again. So, and you had even said it's lost its power now because it's... Yeah. There's a lot of that in the game. There is. If you don't get it right the first time, these amazing loops and these amazing moments repeat themselves. And when they repeat themselves, it becomes full of tedium.
Yeah,
so
it's not as effective. So it is. So that kind of shows how much it. I don't want to say leans on it, but it's driven by how it looks and how it sounds. So when how it looks and how it sounds becomes less interesting because of things like that, then that's when it's.
Yeah, when you're forced to relive these set pieces, if you had to reload. Let's just say God of War again. If we had to reload God of War every time that fucking turtle tree came out of the ground,
fine.
But eventually you'd be like, yeah, I get it. Give me the camera back.
I don't know. I quite like the turtle, mate. It was,
okay.
Cool.
All right, maybe a bad example.
Different example.
But you understand what I mean, though, right?
It's a giant turtle. What else do you need?
Like Red Dead Redemption, I was playing a mission and then I came off the mission because I had to go to work. I came back on and I had to relive all the dialogue, and let me tell you, it's not as good as. So there's a lot of that in Gris if you let it. If you're not looking at how if you're not taking enough cues from the environment, because the game has no dialogue, of course, it's truly environmental storytelling and in the way that you progress and get through these like challenges, and I guess like the wind bit. Progress. You can see progress, so you can see that these like hermit crabs are getting blown away by the wind, but if they hide in the shelter, they don't. If you pay attention to that, you know what to do.
If they hide in the shitter.
The shelter. You know what, you fucking
get in the toilet.
Yeah, get in the toilet.
Shitter.
Yeah. So again, Gris's art. Okay. Can't say that enough. What a beautiful game.
Yeah.
I was saying this on Twitter, but I'll say it in case people don't follow me on Twitter. I was going to make a list of my favourite indie games this year, and then all of a sudden Gris came. Below is out now. I guess Ashen and I, we'll talk about that in a minute. But so many indie games coming out still. I thought I'm not going to bother because I know I watched this other channel I watch and they've made a list and it's exactly the same as my list in the exact same order. So I've just tweeted that and Get Indie Gaming have put this list out and it's the exact list of indie games in the exact order I would have put them in.
Yeah.
Top 10 apart from Celeste, which get that out of there. Put Moonlighter in instead. But if you're into indie games, for the people that are speaking to me saying, I got Moonlighter because you said, I got Graveyard Keeper. If you were taking those recommendations seriously, get this one as well. It's properly beautiful. Nice bit of art. As a game, can be quite tedious, very bare bones, but if you want a game with like a lot of style, get it. Thank you very, very much for listening.
And that was a Special Moves message brought to you by Jake Kulkowski. Now let's move on to Ashen. Into the shitter, sorry.
Do you know what I mean?
So you both played a bit of Ashen, but Liam, you played slightly more.
A bit more, yeah.
All possibly 2 hours of it. So
I stayed up late to play this to make sure I could talk about it.
So does the lack of time spent, is that an indication as to your feelings of the game?
No, it was purely because I was tired.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I turned it off.
I started playing it at like 11 o'clock at night and
Yeah.
then I was like, I need to go to bed. And
Yeah.
that was at 1:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
So it was just pure tiredness.
Okay, so this might not be the most reliable of
Oh no,
reviews.
I still remember it all vividly. Is that
Yeah, he wasn't half asleep, mate.
yeah.
Yeah, I just
I
a
can
couple of bosses too,
concentrate.
haven't you?
I beat 2 bosses, yeah.
All right, okay.
I don't know how many bosses are in the game,
What
but
is
I beat
it?
2 of them.
So what is it first that introduces
So,
us to?
Ashen is an indie game made by a company called Aurora 44,
Yeah.
I think is their development team.
Yeah.
And it's published by Annapurna Interactive, who recently did Donut County, and
Yeah.
they did
Another pretty big indie publisher, really.
and they did What Remains of Edith Finch before that.
Yeah.
Making a name for themselves, really, as this like art game publisher,
So they
I
do
guess.
films, right?
They were a film distributor traditionally, but they've branched into games.
And I don't think they've had a dull note, yeah.
No,
there's
they've
something
done very well.
There's something about the name that doesn't. It's not a game publisher's name.
Annapurna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You've
It's
probably seen their logo at the start of a film.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
know
like-
who they are. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, like for the audience
Oh,
and
right.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. You'll probably recognise their logo.
Yeah.
And they're putting out some special stuff. Film-wise, they've got some good stuff. And game-wise, I think if they put out What Remains of Edith Finch, for Christ.
It's pretty cool
Yeah.
that they've been involved in one thing and gone. You know what? I reckon we should do some games in it. Get some games
From
made.
film to game specifically, because it's showing
Yeah.
that they're not above it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
which is I don't want to say that, but that is
I think the only other people who've done that are Warner Bros. But they mainly do
yeah.
games for their properties they own anyway.
yeah,
like
and they probably
Harry
were
Potter
like,
or
well, there's a lot of money over there.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
do that.
Like Lord of the Rings, we did the games for them
Yeah.
because they've got like the rights to distribute them or
I
whatever.
think that by default makes them one of my favourite publishers of all time. I think, but
Anyway,
so
back to Ashen. Eh?
so it's kind of like
So
Dark Souls.
Yeah, you can't escape the comparison. I
Yeah.
know every game is Dark Souls now,
Exactly.
but this is like
Yeah, honestly.
so close to Dark Souls. I think I said it to Jake. It's actually dangerously close to plagiarism at
Yeah,
points.
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah, and that's not like to discredit Ashen or anything.
No.
Yeah.
But both
It's
are,
undeniable, isn't it?
yeah, both games take place in dying worlds where there's some like elder gods type things or Lord Souls in Dark Souls who you have to go and collect. And they both have stamina-based combat where you got a
well,
dodge
even
roll.
Ashen 1.
Ashen, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean-
that's what they call your character
Yeah.
from Dark Souls 3 for those that haven't played.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Even the control scheme is pretty much identical.
yeah,
And they
Okay.
do, even on like the Steam page or whatever, they do say like,
Did you like Dark Souls?
pretty much, they say faithful to the Souls genre. So
Okay.
they're very upfront about their
yeah,
inspiration.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's got this like very minimalist art style
Yeah.
where everyone looks like a mannequin.
Yeah.
Does
Kind of exactly like that game Absolver that was also
Yeah.
out in the last year.
There
or
is a
so.
character creator in it, but
Yeah.
as you imagine, the options are quite limited
Yeah.
because everyone looks like a mannequin. So
there's no
Do you want to
facial.
look like a mannequin?
yeah, you can change your hair and your
Skin
beard
tone,
style
and
and
that's
your
it.
skin tone. That's
That's
about
it,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so
Bearded mannequins.
it takes place in this world that's dying, and you've got to try and save
Undie it.
Yeah. And so you go on a journey. It is a bit different. So, and it's got elements of other games like again Journey. There is passive multiplayer in this game.
All right.
So you can't really tell. It never tells you if it's another player.
Which I always like. I do like that.
So sometimes it's an AI companion. Then if they start acting weird,
yeah.
it's like
Can
well,
they emote
It's not
in
going
it?
around in circles.
Can-
yeah, it's
can
like,
they do
that's
this in
another
it?
player.
Can they do
I'm
that?
not sure if there is a mode.
For the listeners at home, Mike just waved like an
Yeah.
NPC.
Very much like an NPC.
I noticed it was going multiplayer when the AI companion started attacking me, seeing if anything would happen.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's definitely another player.
Okay.
It's very unintrusive, which is nice.
Yeah, you never notice it.
But it's so
seamless.
effective in Journey, obviously, right? And then that's like the staple thing in
the
Journey.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the clincher in it. And then so that's for it to happen here. What's the reason for it to happen here, other than just to go? Oh,
I think it's
other
just
people.
it's just a neat little feature. So like one thing that is unique to Ashen is you get like it's got town building almost.
okay.
So kind of like Dark Souls again though, where you find people and NPCs out in the world, you can bring them back to like your shrine or whatever. That's in this game, but you can like ask them to build stuff, and there's a bit more emphasis on crafting and upgrading your equipment and stuff.
Because Dark Souls is pure, like, just you bring them back, they become a trader, and they'll for one very specific thing. But then it's about the dialogue, and
They might have a quest line.
and it's so like subtly done. You might not even notice that they've gone or something. After, you know, and then and it's only through reading wikis and stuff that you realise what the significance of that is.
Yeah.
Which is a bit more,
So, combat wise, it is just Dark Souls with you've got to watch your stamina bar.
Yeah.
You got to dodge roll out the way. Enemies are tough, and you can go down in like 4 or 5 hits, whatever. It is more forgiving than Dark Souls, I will say. And you have a currency that you lose upon death, and you can go and reclaim, as is tradition. But it's not that important, the currency in Ashen.
Okay.
So you don't use it to level up.
Yeah.
You get stat boosts by completing quests.
Yeah.
There's a proper quest log in the game.
Yeah.
And NPCs have their own storylines that you can follow. They give you like different objectives. You go and retrieve an item for them, come back, and you might get like a plus 15 to your health or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're not like using the currency to level yourself up like you do in Dark Souls, but you do use it to upgrade your equipment. So like you'll find a broken weapon, you can take it to an anvil, pay them a fee, they'll upgrade it to forged, whatever, and then you can upgrade that, and it just like keeps stacking on the damage and stuff like that. So that's a bit like Dark Souls, but without having to find like Titanite shards and stuff like that.
It sounds at least a bit like they're going, maybe I don't.
They
quite
have tried
like
to make it different, yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds almost to me like they maybe for personal preference think I would actually prefer it if this is how it worked, and then they've tried to rather than just trying to be different. They've thought how would they prefer it to be? Do you know what I mean?
There's a lot more. Story is a lot more at the forefront in this one as well.
Okay.
So like how Dark Souls is all like almost background lore, really, isn't it? Ashen is very upfront about its story, like quite lengthy dialogue from NPCs, and they fill you in on everything going on in the world, and all that.
So they're trying to do Dark Souls, but not with the Dark Souls kind of that. Because to me, that is the main. I know everyone says Dark Souls, difficulty is the thing that you first associate with it. But for me, genuinely, it's just not understanding and then wanting to understand and being vague and being, really nebulous with stuff. So,
Ashen's very upfront about its story,
which
to be fair.
to me is a really different approach. So Jake's been shaking his head and laughing the whole time that you've been talking. So Jake, what have you got to say?
No, I agree with him completely. I was laughing at the word nebulous. It's just funny.
So I will say it's not as good as Dark Souls.
Contemporary political thing. I only heard the word recently, and then I heard it again today, and I was like, I
You
googled
called
that
me
word
nebulous.
the other day.
You said I was nebulous. No, I didn't. Yes, you did.
That is honestly, a little bit of Brexit banter there. For anyone who doesn't know what he's on about, he's not talking to me. He's talking to some Luxembourg guy, I think, and he is doing an impression of Theresa May there. Anyway, so Ashen,
No, I wasn't. No, that was just. I was
you
just
just
like
quoting her.
Yeah, that was like a lawyer reading,
her lips.
reading quotes from an interview that they haven't got the tapes to play.
God,
Anyway, what do you think of Ashen?
That's the only word I heard. Anyway, so I played a little bit of someone and then turned it off. So I just I wanted to believe. I put it on.
But this is that is how I deal with things.
Yeah, but I very
just
much looking forward to Ashen. I've been mentioning it for ages, haven't I?
I turn things off. I look forward to it.
Oh, that's another thing. It was surprise released at the Game Awards. That was one thing I've got to mention.
Because the Game Awards are actually a pretty big deal these days.
So it's been out for like a week and a bit now.
Yeah.
It's on Game Pass, right?
That's how I'm playing. I'm playing it on Xbox One.
Yep.
Yeah, Ashen and Below, both Game Passes.
Currently the best deal in gaming at the moment, if you ask me. Xbox Game Pass.
And I'd be inclined to agree. This week especially, adding these two. So I just played it and it was just, unfortunately, I actually really don't like it when people try to be something else with a game, but they're not even fucking bothering to cover it up. Like Ashen 1, Ashen. Don't call enemies ash suckers. Come on, it sounds like you know what I mean.
Oh, have you come across the vagrant enemies yet? So you literally beat up homeless people. Technically, they literally call them feral vagrants.
Oh dear.
And
ash sucker though sounds like a bit of a.
I said, well, my thing was that it sounds like 80s sci-fi stuff. It sounds like what one of the Marines
Sounds like
in Aliens. Yeah, it's like a nickname for an alien.
I think,
and it's like what
Starship Troopers.
It's like it's like what a Marine from Aliens would call something.
The alien,
yeah, it's more or less the story of like this thing called the Ashen, and it's like some giant space bird made out of ash,
right?
And a shard of it or something falls to the fucking dark world, and it makes light. And how do they gather that light?
Its dying breaths give birth to humanity and shit like that.
What do they do with the light, Mike? Make it into a bonfire. Of course, silly.
There's bonfires in it.
They're called ritual stones in this one.
They're bonfires, and they look like bonfires.
There is an Estus flask in it, except it's called the Crimson Gold in this.
And
imagine if it was just like Bestus flask.
Best. So I was looking at it and I was just going, no. It's and then I don't know. I'm gonna have to go in now. Now I know that it's just a Dark Souls rip. I'll go in there expecting
refreshed.
Yeah. But it was that story at the beginning, like the Ashen One's light will, or not the Ashen One, sorry, the Ashen's light will bring light to the dark world, and then just that really, there's quite a lot of voice acting which is very dodgy. Behold, like that sort of stuff.
Well, there's dodgy voice acting in Dark Souls, but it's
you can tell
sparse.
It's a lot less.
And in Dark Souls, it feels like that they've got someone to say 1,000 words of dialogue, and they've only chosen one sentence of it. So then and that is okay then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
there are some very cool voices in Dark Souls.
Exactly. But it doesn't stand out for being bad, but this I was just like, I noticed it, and I don't normally notice if something's bad or good voice acting-wise, apart from Two Worlds. So I just went in there today expecting to have a good hour or two on it, and I left because I was a bit. But that's okay. That's all I'm adding to this conversation is saying that. For somebody that was very, very excited for it, my initial impressions of the first
repelled
bit,
immediately.
I got to the open world bit after doing the tutorial bit and had a little wander around. I've got so much on, like so many other games I could be playing.
That is a problem, isn't
it? And so at the moment, my time is, I don't know, I've got below ready.
You sound like exactly how I felt with Battlefield 5, specifically the single player campaign, because I was playing it thinking, why? Okay, this is not obviously very good to me. Why would I put hours into this?
Yeah, and it's not about it being bad either. If it's just the thing is, there's potential here. Yeah. For those listening, right? If we do another podcast,
honestly, what Liam said sounds like
exactly.
The only thing it's missing is the message system, really.
Yeah, exactly.
But instead, it's gone for this passive multiplayer thing.
Yeah,
and a couple
which I quite like, to be fair.
Yeah.
There's co-op, right? Was on the trailers. This is what I was going to ask you. Co-op was on the trailers, featured heavily in it.
Yeah.
Can you start a game co-op? Do you know?
I'm not sure
because we've got passive multiplayer.
There's a setting in the menu for multiplayer, but I don't know if that's just to turn it off so you can go solo, or if you can invite people. I didn't look into it.
Co-op's always a game changer for me, and I if a game that is kind of suddenly has co-op in it.
Yeah, if it was a start to finish Dark Souls game with co-op embedded in it,
which you can do in Dark Souls,
but awkwardly,
complicated.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna revisit it, but at the moment it's hop back in the queue.
Yeah.
Because I've got Below and Hitman 2 and all this.
I feel like I'm going to carry on with it because it feels like a short game to me. I feel like I've already halfway through the game. I've only played 2.5 hours.
I read you can do it in about 8 hours, so I'm not sure how true that is.
Because I've got half the map unlocked.
Yeah.
So that was only after a few hours. So I'll carry on with it, and who knows, my opinion might be better, it might be worse. I don't know.
Yeah, it was very early. I'm sure there'll be people who have listened in that have finished it, because I know a few, at least I know a few of our patrons in Discord are talking about it. So I don't know if you finished Ashen. What's it like? Is it good? And I know
it's decent so far, I think.
Yeah.
So tell us in the comments. Let's do or tell us in the Dear Special Moves segment of the podcast, which we're going to do right now. Dear Special Moves is the email inbox sort of thing for the podcast. If you want to email us, it's dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. tell us what your opinions are of stuff. Tell us what you agree with that we've said, that you disagree with. Ask us questions if you've got any big kind of topics that you want to raise. Anything, any games coming up in the next year that we haven't talked about that you're really interested in, just email us, dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. We've got 3 this week, though. Pretty good.
Okay.
This one is from Kevin, who asks, please add a cool nickname.
Kevin the Destroyer.
There you go. Kevin the Destroyer says, this isn't a question, I definitely relate. So this is off the back of a conversation we had about waiting for games being on the Switch being like it just like jumps into your mind all the time now. It does to me anyway. So Kevin the Destroyer says, I definitely relate to the idea of looking for games that might feel at home on the Switch on that console first before considering them for other consoles. And as a reformed Switch skeptic, I never would have expected that to happen. For the longest time, I was strictly a PS4 and PC gamer, and I told myself that I just couldn't see the purpose of a Switch other than first-party Nintendo games. Well, I ended up lucking into a really great deal on a Switch that I just couldn't pass up, and it turns out I had it all wrong. After playing Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey, I'm now fully on board with first-party Nintendo games being system sellers in their own right, and, much to my surprise, I'm absolutely loving the ability to play handheld. It's a feature that I never knew I needed. Who doesn't love a nice, relaxing bit of Dark Souls before bed? All right.
Okay.
That's pretty...
Kevin the Malevolent.
Yeah, they don't call him Kevin the Destroyer for nothing.
That sounds like a Dark Souls NPC.
Yeah.
Kevin the Malevolent.
Yeah, and his twin brother Kevin the Destroyer is he's just one of the NPCs that springs out on him. He's got a big hammer. Right, so now he says he's gotten to the point now that I only check to see the status and viability of a game on the Switch before I consider it for other consoles. So long story short, I don't think it was possible for me to have been more wrong about the Switch, nor for me to be happier about being wrong. So this is...
that end bit is very nice.
I feel like that's happening a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like... Because I wouldn't say I was skeptical of the Switch at all. I always thought it was cool, but like I didn't realise how much I was into it until I got one. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't realise, like, oh, this is proper good, actually. Like,
Yeah.
I was playing it in the car park yesterday, like, like an hour away from my house, and I was just waiting in the car, and I was playing a bit of Smash Brothers in the car. So it's really, really good for that. And the basic, simple thing that you can put that same game in a dock and play it on your telly, I mean, what a treat that is. So do you guys think Switch first? Would you like? Do you guys think? Because you play like a lot of indie games, especially you, Jake. Would you? Because everything I see, yeah, if it's an indie game, if I think that could run on the Switch very nicely, I'm like, well, I'll just wait for that. Well, I'll just get it when it's. I know when it's on the Switch.
So we were looking at some gameplay of Below earlier, and then Mike said,
"Yep."
Mike said, "Is it on the Switch?" We said no, and then he said he was going to throw his laptop at the telly or something. So that, you know what I mean? There's a lot of passion.
Yeah.
Here.
And you sound like a social worker or something like that. You're trying to rehabilitate me.
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying, Michael.
To talk about Michael.
Yeah.
So
you're a very passionate man.
Well, I've got to admit, to be honest, I've got a Switch, and I've only had it for a couple of months, and I've not really given it I have not really played it as much as I deserve. Wait,
no, you've had it
longer
than that.
I had it last July, didn't I? Yeah, sorry. That's
for your birthday, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Sean got it me for my birthday.
I remember playing it on a train with you at some point.
I think it was
when we went down to.
No, it was this year.
If I remember, the order was in terms of Switch acquisition. I was fully aware of what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went me, Mike, then Jake, right?
Yeah. So when did Hollow Knight come out? It was July.
I think so. Yeah.
I've only had it.
It was
June.
June because it was E3. I think.
Yeah.
It was for Nintendo Direct, and they did the "It's Out Now" thing.
That's it. Yeah, because it was my first time having it. So yeah. So I got one this year, and I've not played that much of it, and I know that because my other half spent a lot of money on it for me, and then says you don't play it enough. But I have recently, in the last podcast I mentioned it, found a nice bit of zen playing Kingdom.
Yeah,
I've
got Kingdom New Lands now, not the new one.
Yes, not £2, which I will be getting eventually when it's not 90 quid or whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's probably like 20. I don't know what I'm on about. But yeah,
still too much.
I've been playing Smash, and yeah, I was playing it in a hospital this week. I was playing it on the go in the car. I'm finally doing it. otherwise, the only time I got the Switch out in portable mode was when I was making bottles for my newborn baby, waiting for the kettle to boil, playing Fortnite, and that's it. And Breath of the Wild still hasn't got its talons into me, into my tendons. I'll try it. Fuck off.
Were you going to say tendrils?
Yeah,
I was,
like,
but talons.
Pretty dead space. This.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I don't know. I tried there, guys, and I didn't do it. Okay?
It's okay.
Breath of the Wild is just not done it for me. I'm a massive Zelda fan. I've tried and tried, and it's not done it.
I'm weird with Breath of the Wild. I'm a bit like ambiguous with it because I feel like I like the thought of it a lot more than I enjoy playing it, which is like the reverse of what I feel a lot of the time. But I actually feel like, I really fancy playing a bit of Breath of the Wild, and then I start playing it, and it just kind of like.
I really like Breath of the Wild.
All right.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
You're not alone, mate. That's
I had to force myself to carry on with the main story because I just wandered around the entire game if I didn't.
I think that's the problem. I think you're playing it the right way. I think, and then I'm just I don't know what I'm doing. Because I'm so used to being fucking dragged by the nose through games. Like through it doesn't matter how open world something is. It doesn't matter how open world. I mean, it doesn't matter how much Rockstar wants you to make you. Role play as a cowboy. You still are basically just riding to objectives and doing this, watching the cutscene, doing the story.
And you can usually find where you need to go.
Breath of the Wild is totally different to that. It's nothing like that.
It's incredibly open.
Yeah. So for that reason or whatever reason, I'm out, and I've been playing Smash lately and really, really enjoying it. Kingdom, really. I'm finally, I'm finally getting my girlfriend's money's worth. But I've got Pokemon Let's Go on the I got it for my daughter for Christmas, so I haven't played it yet. But that I've had to go at in my sister's house. Seems really good, and it's getting to the point now where but I know, look, guys, I know what it sounds like, but we get like copies of games sent to us and shit. I'm so used to that now. That makes the fact that every game's about double the price on the Switch. I'm always like,
it is. Yeah, there is a Switch tax, isn't there?
I could have bought Gris. Or got it free on PC. Do you know what I mean? I could have bought The Messenger or got it free on PC. So that's why I'm not playing games on the Switch, because it's expensive. And I think forget that you're a privileged little knobhead getting games for free. Even if you're just a regular person, a hard-working person who's spending your hard-earned cash on games, you're spending more of your hard-earned cash on games just for the privilege of playing it on Nintendo. And often the ports take a while to get to their prime.
This is what you hear though. Hard-working person doesn't have as much time as a non-hard-working person and might be willing to pay the premium so that they can actually play it in bed or play, and that
play
is
it
what
on
a
a
lot
commute,
of people,
which a lot of people who work good jobs have.
That's what a lot of people kind of say, and I played probably it's probably actually at least 3 hours of Smash Brothers in the last few days, which I just would not have played if it wasn't handheld.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you mean. I'm not 100% in favour of it all still. I don't think it's like the be all and end all if it's not on the Switch, but especially like good indie games. I think what it is I hate the state of the Nintendo store. I think it's a joke, and a lot of the time I'm like,
why? Because of that, just the
so
layout.
Much shit on there, and it's hard to navigate.
Oh my god! When I first got the Switch, there was like 200, 300 games on it, right? And it was like curated. It felt like everything on there, even the ones I hadn't heard of. I was like, I'm sure that's there for a reason.
Yeah.
But now there's like there's so much stuff there.
I'm not into that really, but
they need to look after it. They need to gatekeep it a bit more, I think.
I'm really looking forward to the first party Nintendo games next year. We've got a podcast coming out of what we're looking forward to next year, and a lot of our time, I watched it back this morning, a lot of our time spent talking about Nintendo first parties. But as for it being a port machine, every week it'll be in a new releases bit in a minute. We're going to be talking about some Switch port probably.
There's throughout 2018. One of the biggest ongoing themes that we've already talked about in the podcast that's coming out over Christmas. It is undoubtedly the fact that there's been like 10 Switch ports a week. You know what I mean? Like the release.
They're definitely building a library. But what I'm trying to say is I'm not fully converted
You're not signed up to it.
Liam, you've had the Switch the longest time, so you're probably, the honeymoon period is over. How do you feel about the Switch being the ultimate bad boy, big boy champion?
So I mainly play just Nintendo games on it, or exclusives. And I have played a few indies on it. Most recently, what was it? I can't actually remember now. But yeah, I'm never the person who's like, oh, I might wait until it's on the Switch.
Yeah.
I'm like, just go wherever it's cheapest, to be honest, or whatever the best version is. So if it's on like an indie game on PC, it's usually cheaper, and I'll buy it there because it'll like perform better, like you'll get better resolution or performance or whatever.
One recent incident of that for me was Hyperlight Drifter was on sale on both PlayStation Network and the eShop, discounted, both of them, and it was £6 on PlayStation and double that. It was £12 on the eShop for Nintendo Switch, and I ended up going for the PlayStation version. You know, no regrets at this point. Really like it, but it's like it's just prohibitively expensive a lot of the time.
Yeah, I do. That's what I find, especially when you're charging like Inside, right? Get my game of the year 2 years ago. It's expensive. Like it's the price it was when it came out. Yeah. Now.
I remember. Do you remember when the Switch first came out and they were saying, "Oh, well, these get like Street Fighter 2 or whatever was like fucking £40 or some shit like that," and it was like, and they were saying, "Oh, it's because we have to charge the same as the
shops,
the bricks and mortar because they've got all the overheads and stuff." But it just at this point it just seems a bit like,
what bricks and mortar selling inside?
It's just a bit. Everything's just a bit more expensive on eShop.
Smash, on the eShop? Smash was £59.99
£60
when it came out. Yeah. It was like I got £48 on Amazon on launch day.
Yeah, and that's a very typical story. I think things are they're 50, 55, or in some rare cases £60. I think Breath of the Wild is.
Breath of the Wild's quite expensive.
It's 60, I think, full price. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so that's thank you very much, Kevin the Destroyer, for raising that topic. The next one, Dear Special Moves. This is from Cara Allen, who says, I had a moment this week when finishing the Prey DLC achievements that I reckon you fellas would enjoy. Last year I finished Prey several times, and this year I think I put about 15 hours into the DLC. I thought I knew most of the game systems pretty well. I was heading towards the crew area, and the entry corridor from the main crater was on fire. I didn't have the weapon, the glue cannon, that puts out the fire. I decided to use the mimic skills to get through the fire, hoping mimicking something that can't burn would stop me catching fire. It worked. On my way back out of that section, I still didn't have the glue cannon, and I wasn't going back inside to craft it. Yeah, lazy, I know. Mimic time then. The only thing to mimic on this side was of the fire was an O2 canister on the wall. I hope that mimicking exploding things wouldn't make explode once I went into the fire. Why would they go to such detail by programming that in the game? So as I exploded and was punted over the fire in the weak gravity of the crater, all I could think was, wow, I didn't expect that to really happen. Cool. After all this time playing the game, it still has the ability to surprise me, and I love that about games. Keep up the good work, Cara Allen. Thank you very much, Cara.
It's a cool story.
That is good. That is good, isn't it?
Always nice to find little details in.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that when I'm playing Smash, actually. About how I don't have time to really do it these days, but I used to play Smash like on the GameCube. This is Melee. Loads as a kid. Like I'd play the matches in slow motion mode, which you could unlock, just so I could see which weapon would send people the furthest. I'm looking for these little details and like going into camera mode and zooming around the character models and all that. And, you know, when you find a nice little surprise, you're like, well, Half-Life 2 I revisited about 4 or 5 years ago. And that surprises me how much little detail there is and stuff like that. Yeah. Cans of people's heads. And...
It does tend to be like the masterpieces. It does tend to be the games where people are like hold them up for years later and stuff. And that's partly why, because you can keep going back to play Bloodborne, and Bloodborne's still in the news because of stuff that they find in it. But that Prey thing, that's quite cool. That's like a mechanical thing that's just ingrained in the game. And this is from the DLC, which is people have like really raved about it, but it's been
is this quite Moon Crash?
Moon Crash, yeah. I think I'm assuming that's what Cara's talking about there. But it's it sounds like a real good big achievement for the company who made this, the Moon Crash DLC. But it just doesn't. I don't know if it's really like. I don't know if enough people have played it, and it hasn't really like the people who have played it really rate it and rave about it, but it doesn't kind of come out like that often. I don't think if you were people to ask people what's the best DLC or whatever, or it's like it's The Witcher.
It'll catch on, I think, because people are giving it like.
I've recently bought Prey in a sale with like this because it just seems like a no-brainer. Like I kind of I said a couple of weeks ago, I think I dismissed it out of hand. Playing it because it just was like I didn't like the mimic enemies and stuff, and it just wasn't working for me. But then I like Arcane Studios, I like sci-fi, I like why wouldn't I? So I've gone into it again for like £8, fine.
I got it on sale like last year. I had a really good time with it.
Yeah,
it's great.
You've
I
always
really
kind of
liked it,
said it was good, and that's counted as well.
So it's like System Shock, which is great.
Yeah, which is, of course, if you like Bioshock, a bit of a history lesson, I guess. It's System Shock's one of the PC greats, I guess, isn't it? So, yeah, I think that's always worth mentioning and highlighting when a game can, like, just surprise you. It doesn't matter how much, because obviously it sounds like Har's played it loads, but it's, like, still managed to surprise it like that. I think, like, Logic as well. I always like it when, if you like, part of the reason why I love Divinity Original Sin so much, because that's exactly what it does.
Yeah,
it's like this should in real life. If I did this, it would blow up.
Yeah.
So of course it does in the game. Even if it doesn't seem.
Yeah, Divinity is a great example of that. Because you can just think, how would I get out of here? Or like you just have to, you have to do that.
And that's how they even the opening kind of act of Divinity is like is Larian Studios going, go on. See what you can get to. Go on, innit? And there's so many different ways of escaping this island that you're on. Sort of thing.
Exactly. I've got out of there about 7 times, and about every time.
Yeah.
And admittedly, 2 of them were in a definitive edition. Well, I've done a different way every time.
Yeah, so they've added some stuff. So there you go. So let's not get into Divinity Original Sin 2 again. Thanks, Cara, for that. And last up, we got Stephen Beaufort Jones, who says, "Hi guys, I loved Red Dead Redemption 1. And I was so excited for Red Dead Redemption 2. I pre-ordered it. I was a little frustrated with the new mechanics at first, however, I got used to them. I got to Chapter 3, then I stopped playing. Now, when I look at my game collection, thinking what to play, I never go back to Red Dead Redemption 2. It feels like an experience as opposed to having fun. It's almost like an Oscar-winning film where it's technically good, but just boring. This is such an unpopular opinion. Is there anyone out there who feels the same way? Cheers."
Fucking Oscars. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose what you mean. If you go, if you want to watch
Phantom Thread, isn't it? It's the...
Hey, that's a good film.
Fuck off, hey,
just boring.
Yeah, I bet Stephen's loving the cinema listings at the moment. You got Aquaman, you got Bumblebee, mate. Loads of fun. Anyway, listen. Forget all that.
How very dare you?
Yeah.
He might fucking have brilliant taste in films, mate.
Yeah.
And you've jumped down his throat saying, "Oh, he probably likes superhero films."
Those boring Oscar winners.
Snob.
Right. Anyway, listen. Shut up. Right. So with this game, awful. I agree. I 100% agree with him. It's like a game that I'm getting through to experience it. But yeah, you're right. I'm not going. Oh, this is loads of fun. Do you know what I am doing that with? Any Nintendo game ever. But I'm not doing it with Red Dead Redemption. But at the same time, I also do like boring prick Oscar films. And I do like a sad game, don't I? I like walking simulators, stuff like that. If it's fun, the ends justify the means for me quite often. And I think that this is going to smash it with the ending. Like, I'm on Act 4, I think.
Right.
Saint Denis. For those that know, you'll know where I'm on about. But it's not a spoiler if you don't know. And there was a point. It was either Act 2 or Act 3. It was the part with the Braithwaites and the Greys.
Yep.
The 2 plantations. The game slumped big time.
That's where I'm near the end. It definitely feels like I'm right near the end of that.
Yeah.
Which is, if it's Act 2 or Act 3, I don't know.
That's what I mean. Like,
But that feels like such a horrible. I don't want to say it's a misstep, but it just doesn't feel. It doesn't feel very good.
I think the pacing has been very spot on up until that point, and again after that part it gets better. So I just think like
it just loses momentum in a really big way, and I don't know. But
it's too much back and forth, and
it's too much. It's too much cake, isn't it? It's just too much like
too much cake.
It's just too much like massive.
Is there such a thing?
Yes, there is. It's
depends
just
on the cake, though, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Imagine,
if the cake was Divinity Original Sin 2 flavoured, there's no such thing as too much cake.
But it's like having the that's true.
If the cake is Western flavoured, grit and blood, you're not Bruce
It's
Bogtrotter,
not even the grit and the blood. I don't know what it is. I think in terms of like sheer quantity, it's probably got as much stuff as a CRPG or something like that, except it's all presented in this traditional
linear way.
In a cinematic filmic televisual way, and in a traditional AAA game where you're like over the guy's shoulder and and I don't know what it is, but there's like some weird mix of things going on here, and I'm exactly the same as Stephen, where I'm like, I've got an hour. Yeah, what will I play?
That's what it is.
Well, Red Dead Redemption won't I won't get anywhere in an
That's
hour.
what it is.
We've said that before on the podcast, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's exactly what it is. Because I got past where you guys are.
Yeah.
And I've notably, maybe even out loud, when this is getting better. Like, do you know what I mean?
And you still haven't kept going.
But there's some, and I don't know, maybe, like I was saying earlier about Ashen, maybe it's just because at the moment I am feeling very serious about the fact that I am playing and finishing a lot of fucking games lately.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that, because not everybody does that. And at the end of the year, I want to be able to chat to people that are listening to podcasts, chat to people that watch our YouTube videos about the games that I've played this year, and have a lot under my belt. And there's a lot of good shit going on. I want to play Below. I want to play Hitman 2, which I've just acquired. So there's all this going on.
You just got Hitman 2?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
So anyway, yeah, it's being delivered in like a day.
Sorry, there's a moment of understanding there that's just not worth going into, so don't worry.
So anyway, something about it anyway. I see that little icon for Red Dead, and I'm just going, nah.
Yeah.
Occasionally Liam says something and it gives me a spark of hope.
Yeah.
But he's past it. Why does he
I
have
finished it.
Exactly, that's what
And
I mean.
I played it in like marathon sessions.
Well, it's the third most played game on PlayStation 4.
Exactly, yeah.
So
And I look at that as well in the same way that I would probably look at Mount Everest and go,
It feels
it would be
like
great to get to the top of
I
that.
got halfway at once and it was quite good. But
Yeah.
in the time it takes to play Red Dead Redemption 2 from start to finish, you can watch all 5 seasons of The Wire.
Very true.
So
Very,
it is
very,
like
very
playing
true.
it. It's like playing the video game equivalent of an entire TV
You
series.
could probably watch every single film that's nominated for an Oscar
But
twice.
actually, quite a lot of people who've started watching The Wire think exactly what Stephen Jones has said about Red Dead Redemption. It feels like an experience.
You've
It
kind
doesn't
of got to
respect my
put,
time. I'm not having fun watching it.
You just got to push through, I guess, is my best.
It's worth it at
all
the
I
end.
can say.
That's what everyone seems to say about
That's
this
it,
Red
yeah.
Dead journey. And I'm nearly halfway through it, and I'm thinking I will go back.
It's weird. It's like the reverse. It's not the journey that matters. It's the end. It's
Yeah,
the end.
the end's
The
justify
friends
the
you make
means,
along
for
the
sure.
Yeah.
And I saw a couple of like opinion things when it first came out where people were saying, "Oh, it doesn't respect your time and stuff," because you've got to do so much menial stuff. But
It's the dedication to the simulation stuff.
Yeah, looking after your horse and things like that. Which, but you know, that's what it wants to do. It wants to be a cowboy simulator as well.
Yeah.
You've got to be on board for that if you want to see the story through as well. So it's, I don't know. I'm quite surprised at how this has gone down, because I thought that when I first played the first 4 or 5 hours of it, I was like, this is fucking incredible, right? And then it's just like I personally have fell off it, and you know, a lot of people have just come forward saying the same sort of thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
so it's really interesting
I'm
how that's happened.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that.
You just got to power through it. That's the only thing.
Yeah. Or not.
Like,
if I don't,
because there were times I was definitely bored playing it, but yeah, you just got to get through it.
Yeah, I'll join Liam.
Why,
I'll
though?
join Liam in the new lands,
Why
and I'll
do I have
report
to
back.
go through
Well, I
it?
don't, because I put myself through loads of shit games that I end up hating, but I finish them anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just like...
Liam wants them to join him.
I think we're just wired differently.
I don't know anyone personally who's finished Red Dead yet.
That's true. You're the
out of
only
everyone I
person.
spoke to, like
Yeah.
you guys, other friends outside and other stuff like that.
I've read one comment, right, when we talked
I've
about
not
this
heard
before,
anyone else that's finished it.
who was saying, I can't wait till you guys finish it. So
I heard
that was
someone
one person. And considering what we were saying about the game, there wasn't an awful lot of people going, oh, you should finish it. You can't say anything. You haven't finished it. There was, and I was kind of expecting
I heard 2 people
a lot
on
of
a podcast say they finished it once.
It's like an achievement. That's the rarest trophy
Yeah.
on my PS4 Life.
Yeah,
Finished
weird.
it.
Interesting to see where this will be in 6 months. Like how many,
Yeah,
how many
maybe
people will have,
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is a game that demands a lot of your time.
Yeah, it indeed is. And let's leave it there, I reckon. Nice one, Stephen. Thank you very much for that email. Thank you, everyone who emailed in. Keep doing it. It's dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Questions, opinions, any topics you want to raise, anything you want to point out. We had a good little cross-section there. We had a possibly controversial opinion about Red Dead Redemption. We had just someone talking about a nice thing that happened in Prey.
Yeah.
And we had someone just saying that the Switch is very good, and they're kind of, realising that it was good and admitting that they were wrong about something, which doesn't happen very often on the internet. So thanks, everyone. Email in again, dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Let's do the release dates just before we finish. There's not that many, but there is some. So first of all, it's a Switch port. Of course it is. Firewatch is coming to the Switch on December the 17th.
Mm-hmm.
How old's that game now?
If you haven't played Firewatch yet,
2015.
yeah, if you haven't played that yet and you're interested in it, that's a long wait to play Firewatch, unless you're just one of these people who just have Nintendo systems. And
I've not
else.
played it, but that's just because I can't be arsed.
That's what I mean. And if you want to play Firewatch, I'm assuming you'll have done it by now, so it'll be interesting to see what the sales will be.
Yeah. And I wonder how many people will double buy in.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Is it the kind of game you'd read?
That's what I'm interested in. Not.
There might be some people who played it when it came out and now they're fancying revisiting it. Yeah.
I was underwhelmed majorly by Firewatch.
I was under the. I haven't played it, and I was under the impression that it was like a game where once you know the ending,
It's kind of a one and done game.
Yeah, and but like one of those, like, you know, it's like The Village or whatever, where once you know what's happening in The Village, the film, you're like, oh, all right then, and then it just kind of loses a bit of power.
I suppose you can rename your turtle on a different playthrough of Overwatch. Oh, wait, not Overwatch, Firewatch.
It's not like Night in the Woods.
Overwatch, now that's a game you can play.
It's not like Night in the Woods where it's got like a different quest line or whatever.
I don't know. Don't ask me what that was. I don't know what it was.
Night in the Woods has got replayability because you've got a completely different character you can spend time with.
Do you know what? These are both games that I got on release day.
Yeah.
Really excited for them. Firewatch left me disappointed. I tell you the truth.
Okay.
It's not. Well, I can't not recommend it. I'd say if you're interested in it, it's worth a play. If you don't know the ending, it's worth a play. Especially because the developers, Campo Santo, they got a new game coming out early next year in the Valley of the Gods. So could be worth checking out now, if not just because of that.
Yeah.
Although, check the price, because if you ask me, it's not worth 20 quid. I don't know how much it's coming out for.
You'd have to come out at budget price.
Probably about 18 quid,
be enticing, I think.
Yeah, that's how much it was on day one.
Another one that I am interested in. Now, this is another port. This is Warhammer Vermintide 2. It's coming to the PlayStation, PS4 on December the 18th. Now, this is already on Xbox.
Yep.
It's obviously on PC. That's where
Game Pass as well.
we've played it. Game Pass games. So if you've got Game Pass, you can just play Vermintide.
So,
I really can't overstate how much fun I had playing Vermintide.
It just had an expansion as well, I think.
Is it?
Return to Uzbek
Right.
or something. I don't know. Something came out for it recently. Not Uzbekistan.
That's weird. That's a weird DLC.
But it came out recently. Whatever
it is. 3
3
DLCs. Yeah. I think we were actually given the first 2, so I don't think either of us have played them.
No.
But
maybe we should.
Yeah.
I feel like Vermintide 2 is like one of the big, for me, casualties of the year. Like I really wish I'd played more.
It's
of
a robbery.
Yeah,
it's a robbery.
Because I really liked it, and I had loads of fun playing it co-op.
It's the best game I've played like that. You know, like stuff. I like that better than I like Left 4 Dead at the time. Honestly, and I know
it's the best Left 4 Dead game that's not Left 4 Dead.
Oh right, no, I enjoyed it more than Left 4 Dead. But I thought it was.
Oh really?
Yeah, I thought that was really.
Left 4 Dead's fine, but this is like.
It's just Left 4 Dead 2 holds a special place for me. I guess.
No, a lot of just
because I played it so much.
You know a lot, but I'm not. I'm on the anti-Valve bandwagon, aren't I?
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a bandwagon or it's just me alone in like a little mini metro.
Yeah. Right, guys?
Running out of steam. Yeah. I fucking don't want Dota anyway. Yeah. But,
Vermintide 2, it sounds like we're on the same page because I flipping loved it.
It's just, what does it need? What's Left 4 Dead need? High fantasy and rats.
Big swords, dwarves,
Simply
Phil.
like
one of these musket, Simply Phil, one of these musket pistol things.
Yeah.
Blunderbusses.
And the guy with a very posh British accent, he calls himself the Inquisitor or whatever he is. Yeah,
it was. I really, really enjoyed it, and I felt like everyone, because there was so many different minor things, like your physical. One character's really tall, one character's really short, and you feel like a good fantasy party.
It feels versatile straight away. Yeah, exactly.
It feels like a fantasy party, but in a very fast-paced game, in where you're just cutting down hordes of stuff rather than slow turn-based tactical Divinity Original Sin combat. You're just slashing stuff and shooting stuff, and it's a lot of fun. So that's coming to PlayStation. So that
it's a recommend.
It is, yeah. If you haven't played Vermintide 2 and you've got a few friends who want a good co-op game, play this.
If that was a PS Plus game, that would be.
It's
Jesus,
smash it.
The community there, because it's Fat Shark or something, isn't it? They make
developer.
And to be honest, I've never seen a developer play their own game so much. They love it, man. They're on Switch playing their own game.
I can't blame them. Yeah, well done, boys. Enjoy your product. It's like imagine we just binged our own YouTube videos.
Enjoying the fruits of their labour.
Exactly. Yeah, you make the game that you want to play, I guess, don't you?
It's a lovely little game.
And then finally, we've got this. There are other releases, but these are the ones I picked. The last one is Marvel Spider-Man DLC number 3, Silver Linings, which, Liam, you've played the other 2.
I have, and I'll be playing this one because I already bought the season passy thing.
This is the end, isn't it? This is
the final one, the conclusion to the trilogy of DLC.
Which has been one sort of story, right?
Yep, one concurrent plot thread about Hammerhead, the mafia villain.
Yeah. Are you guys surprised seeing how many Game of the Year nominations Spider-Man's getting.
No, because
Yeah.
it's a good game, but it's a very safe game.
I liked it.
That's why I'm surprised.
Yeah, I liked it, but it plays it very safe in a year where God of War came out and reinvented that franchise. And Red Dead came out and dared to be like so different for a mainstream Rockstar game or whatever.
It feels like it's Game of the Year nominated purely by virtue of the fact it's a very expensive, shiny game that a lot of people enjoy.
I mean, it is a very well made game.
It is,
well.
yeah. I can't really fault it, but I can't equally see what's special about it. I don't know.
I didn't watch any of the story, but I saw and played some of the regular bits, and it gets no points for originality because nothing about it at all stood out as cool.
The swinging is just modern, good version of what we've had before.
It's probably another by virtue of the fact that it's the best superhero game since Batman Arkham City, which was 2012, whenever that came out.
Yeah.
About that time, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the best superhero game we've had since that one.
Yeah, and people like a superhero.
Arkham Knight was shit. Don't get me started on Arkham Knight.
Arkham Origins as well.
Arkham Origins is okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it must be that there must be something in the story because I can't see it otherwise.
It was good. No,
the story is good. I like it.
That's fair. Yeah, good. Thanks for reminding me about that because I forgot the story moment. There are some good story moments in it.
Yeah.
And I'm weird with like this sort of stuff. I'm like passively a kind of Spider-Man fan, I guess, and like I haven't read the comics.
Anti-Spider-Man, by all means.
Yeah.
But
I'm generally pro Spider. I used to love it. Like Spider-Man was my superhero when I was a kid.
Same, yeah.
And I would like go to bed and be really pissed off when I woke up without Spider-Man powers. I was like, "Fuck again!"
This is the most human you've ever sounded to me. Yeah. Great.
Yeah,
we had the same dreams, boy.
Right.
Look at us now.
End the podcast.
That's like a Barksdale organisation rooftop chat. Right. Okay.
Yeah, except incredibly geeky.
Yeah, so I didn't play Spider-Man. I completely skipped out. Played it a little bit here on your copy.
Listen, the podcast's over.
Liam, no. I just wanted to know this. Liam.
Yes. Okay.
1 thumb up or 2 thumbs up so far on the Spider-Man DLC?
1 or 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Well,
just
are we rating per section of DLC or overall?
1 and 2 together, and I want to know if the third one can make it a 2 thumbs up.
So 2 thumbs up is a different kind of rating to a 1 thumbs up.
Yeah, it's like twice as good.
Yeah, but no, I was wondering if you were saying DLC 1
maybe it's
thumbs
best
up,
if we do end it.
DLC 2 thumbs up,
No.
DLC 3.
Well, what I'm
thumbs
saying
up.
is the DLC been good so far, and can the third one make it great, or are you just expecting it to be completely the same?
How's he not played it yet?
Well,
I've
some
played the
expectations is a little bit
Alright,
of,
so
you know.
I've got a pretty safe idea of what the third one will be like.
Right.
Because
That's what I mean.
the first DLC was good story beats. Black Cat was fun to hang around with. But the second DLC got a bit repetitive because it just added more of those little crimes and shite in.
It's just like Gladiator, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was not very warm on the second DLC.
So what the third one going to be like? Where are we going?
Well, that I don't know. But
Exactly.
Oh,
What was he going to say then?
I'm guess.
I'm cautiously optimistic, is what I'll say. Because the
Right.
second DLC left me a bit cold, but the first one I really enjoyed.
Terrible questioning.
thought it was
Thank God that you don't have to do any more of that today. Thanks everyone for listening to the Special Moves podcast. That was episode 17. My name was Mike, and these guys were Jake and Liam. Remember to email us at dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Don't put an at the start. It's just that's how you say it. dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. If you've got any questions, topics, opinions. Thanks everyone who supports us on Patreon. Really, really appreciate your help. Is this the last one before Christmas that we're going to do? Because
No, not for them listening.
Yeah.
It's the last one we're recording because we've already recorded our Christmas.
Well, I mean, why not? Merry Christmas anyway. Do you know what I mean? There might be another
I'm
Christmas.
crazy with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Right. Thanks for listening. See you later. Bye.